The Packers entered the 2025 season with an insane amount of hype. After acquiring all-pro edge rusher Micah Parsons from the Cowboys, it seemed like this team would be a Super Bowl favorite. And after starting the season 9-3-1 with a big win against the Bears after my first ever game at Lambeau, everything just fell apart for this team. The Denver game in particular was the turning point of the season, as after losing Tucker Kraft early on in the year, the Packers lost both Micah Parsons for the rest of the season with a torn ACL, and tackle Zach Tom with a knee injury that will knock him out for the rest of the year as well. Green Bay went on to lose the last 4 regular season games, including a massive blown game against the Bears where Romeo Doubs dropped an onside kick to let the Bears win the game in overtime. But the season came to an end against Chicago in the wild card round of the playoffs, where after an incredible first half where they were up 21-3, the offense went cold in the third quarter, and the defense gave up 25 points in the fourth quarter to lose in heartbreaking fashion. But this was still a very good team that just had too many injuries to too many key players, which prevented them from making a serious run at the Super Bowl. And a key aspect of this team was the offense and weapons around Jordan Love. For the most part, they did an incredible job, but sometimes would disappear in most frustrating moments either due to lack of making plays or due to lack of play calling. But the grading system is as followed. A is for players who had a surprising season / all-pro level year. B is for players that had good years for them or a Pro Bowl level player. C is for average players. D is for players that were disappointing. And F is for players that were a complete liability for this team. So let's go ahead and get started with the leader of this offense and star quarterback, Jordan Love. Coming into the season, the main question regarding Jordan Love is which version of Jordan would we be getting? Would it be the first half of 2023 Jordan, where he was adjusting to being an NFL starter? Would it be second half of 23 Jordan Love, where he was one of the top quarterbacks in the league? Or would it be 2024 Jordan Love, where he was somewhere in between those two levels while dealing with injuries? Well, we got the answer, and the answer is close to his second half 2023 elite form, as Jordan Love was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the entire NFL, even through a combination of injuries and play calling around him, preventing him from having accounting stats that would have him be considered for any awards. Jordan got off to an incredible start to the year, leading offense to great wins over both the Lions and Commanders, which at that time were considered to be contenders in the NFC. But against the Browns and against Defensive Player of the Year Myles Garrett, Jordan did not play well at all, as an interception led the Browns to come back and win that game. But the following week against the Cowboys, Jordan played the best game of the year, all to end into a tie as Dak Prescott matched him step for step. Jordan continued to play well in the next 4 games until a game against the Eagles stopped his little hot streak. And then, after that, continued to play well in the next 4 games, leading them to 4 straight wins, with 3 of them being against division rivals. But in that terrible day in Denver, Jordan did not play that well, as a crucial interception on a deep ball to Christian Watson was a turning point in the game. And he wasn't able to really have an answer the following week against the Bears, as a helmet-to-helmet hit by the Bears defender knocked him out of the rest of the regular season with a concussion. But in the playoffs against the Bears in the wild card, Jordan Love played fantastic as he threw for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in a very devastating loss. His best game of the year came against the Lions in Week 13, as he had 234 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, a passer rating of 124.2 in the Thanksgiving Day win. Overall, for his 2025 season, Jordan appeared in 15 games, having a record 9-5-1 with 3,381 passing yards, 23 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions, a completion percentage of 66.3%, an interception percentage of 1.4, a passer rating of 101.2, a quarterback rating of 72.7, and took 21 sacks on the year. PFF gave him an overall grade of 88.5, a passing grade of 88.7, a rushing grade of 52.1 with 27 big-time throws and 14 turnover-worthy plays. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Jordan Love a grade of B+, as he answered the question that every fan had entering the year for the Green Bay Packers, as he solidified himself as a franchise quarterback for the Packers. The only reason why it isn't higher is that due to injuries and some questionable play calls, his counting stats weren't the best in the league. I am so excited to see what he can do in 2026, as hopefully an improved offensive line would improve the overall offense next year. Coming off a surprising season in 2024 where he stepped in admirably for injured Jordan Love, Malik Willis's services were once again needed as Jordan Love struggled with injury yet again in 2025. His first action was against the Giants where he stepped in for Jordan for a single drive where he got his first touchdown pass of the season. Malik's next major action came in Week 16 against the Bears, where after replacing Jordan Love after he's knocked out with a concussion, Willis was a Romeo Doubs dropped onside kick recovery away from leading a Packers win. But by far his best game came in Week 17 against the Ravens, where he was absolutely amazing. Willis was the only reason why that game was even as close as it was, as he had 288 passing yards, 1 passing touchdowns, alongside 60 yards on the ground and 2 rushing touchdowns. Due to an injury suffered late in that Ravens game, Willis did not appear in Week 18 against the Vikings. Overall, for his 2025 season, Willis played in 4 games, starting in 1 of them, having a record of 0-1 with 422 passing yards, 3 passing touchdowns, no interceptions, a completion percentage of 85.7%, a passer rating of 118.7, a QBR of 93.1, and it only took 3 sacks while adding in 123 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. PFF, in his limited time, gave him a 95.6 overall grade, a 92.7 passing grade, and an 87.4 rushing grade, while also giving him 3 big-time plays and 0 turnover-worthy plays. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Willis a grade of A+, as he was just absolutely fantastic yet again as the Packers' backup quarterback. But unfortunately for us Packers fans, but good for Malik's career, this is most likely going to be his last season with Green Bay, as with his excellent performances the last 2 seasons, he is going to be a very desirable quarterback in this year's free agency class, as it is a very, very weak free agent. But hey, not bad for taking a 7th round flyer in the trade to potentially get a 3rd round compensatory pick for 2 years of excellent backup quarterback play. What a disaster Tune's brief time with the Packers was. He was primarily the 3rd quarterback the Packers had on their practice squad and was only elevated to the active roster for the last 2 games of the year. In his brief time filling in for Malik Willis against the Ravens in Week 17, he had only 4 pass attempts, including a very ugly interception. With both Love and Willis out of action in Week 18, Tune was put in as a starter. And it was absolutely atrocious, and I don't think I've ever seen a worse game of offensive football in my lifetime. He was absolutely terrible, having just 34 passing yards, and accounting the yards lost by his 4 sacks, had -7 passing yards on the game. He was then immediately released by the Packers and was replaced on the team by Desmond Ridder. You know how bad he had to be replaced by Desmond Ridder? Pretty darn bad. Overall for his season, Tune appeared in 2 games, starting in 1 of them with a 42 passing yards, 1 interception, a completion percentage of 46.7, a passer rating of 25.7, and a QBR of 7.9. PFF gave him an overall grade of 37.7, a passing grade of 41.9, and a rush grade of 56.7. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Tune a grade of F, as he was just absolutely awful. Coming into the season, it was going to be interesting to see how Romeo Doubs would play. After a pretty rocky 2024 where he was suspended for a game due to team misconduct and missed several other games due to a concussion, the worry was that one more concussion would end Doubs' career. But even though the Packers brought in rookie Matthew Golden, Doubs had a really good season, showing off that great chemistry that he and Jordan Love have. His best game of the year came in Week 4 against the Cowboys, where he had 6 catches for 58 yards with 3 touchdowns as well. He also had a really damn good game against the Bears, where he had in the playoffs, where he had 8 catches for 125 yards and a touchdown, as well as recovering a Christian Watson end zone fumble to keep that game wide open in the first half. That almost redeemed him from one of the worst plays I've ever seen, which in Week 16 against the Bears, with the Packers leading by a touchdown with under 2 minutes left in the game, he muffed the onside kick recovery, which directly led to the Bears winning that game in overtime. Overall, for his 2025 season, Doubs appeared in 16 games, starting in 15 of them, having 55 receptions on 85 targets, 724 receiving yards, 6 receiving touchdowns, and 41 first downs gained. PFF gave him an overall grade of 71.0, a receiving grade of 73.7, with 3 drops, and a passer rating while targeted of 112.7. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Dobbs a grade of B, as he was a really solid receiver for the Packers and recovered well from a bad 2024 season. But I do hope that the Packers do not sign Dobbs in free agency this year, as his skill set is going to block the young Matthew Golden's development in this Packers offense. But I wish Dobbs all the best in whatever his next chapter of football brings him. Coming into the year, the main question about Christian Watson was whether or not we would even see him take the field, as in the last regular season game against the Bears in 2024, Watson tore his ACL that seemed to knock him out until late 2025, if he even came back at all. But Watson attacked his recovery very hard and was able to come back even quicker than we all imagined, having his season debut in Week 8 against the Steelers, where he had an immediate impact, having 4 catches for 85 yards. Watson was a complete game changer for this Packers offense, as his ability to stretch the field and make contested catches really opened up the offense for Jordan Love and the rest of the Packers receivers. His best game came in Week 17 against the Ravens, where he had 5 catches, a season-high 113 yards, and a touchdown with backup quarterback Malik Willis. In the playoff game against the Bears, Watson was solid, had 3 catches for 36 yards and a touchdown in that brutal loss. Overall, for his 2025 season, Watson appeared in 10 games, starting in all 10 of them, having 35 receptions on 55 targets for 611 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 28 first downs gained. PFF gave him an overall grade of 86.7, a receiving grade of 88.5 with 1 drop, and a passer rating while targeted of 122.6. For his season, I'm giving Watson a grade of A, as the production he provided while coming off his torn ACL was absolutely incredible. The Packers gave him an extension before the season started, so he will be back in Green Bay for 2026. Hopefully he can stay healthy, as he could be one of the best receivers in the NFL in 2026. Being the first-round wide receiver drafted by the Packers since Javon Walker in 2003, there is a ton of hype thrust upon the rookie out of Texas. But maybe the hype was too much, as the combination of injuries and Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson having a lot better seasons than anticipated meant that Golden didn't really live up to that first-round hype. But that doesn't mean we didn't see the potential that made him a first-round pick, though, as Golden has some of the best hands on the team, and in the playoff game against the Bears, he had one of his, by far the best game in his career, with 4 catches for 84 yards, and his first career receiving touchdown as well. Overall, for his rookie season, Golden appeared in 14 games, starting in 5 of them, having 29 receptions on 44 targets, 361 yards, and 16 first downs. PFF gave him an overall grade of 70.5, a receiving grade of 72.7, 1 drop, and a passer rating when targeted of 89.7. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Golden a grade of C, as in a crowded wide receiver room, he was often not getting the targets that most first-round rookies get. But I think, especially with the Packers probably not re-signing Romeo Doubs, that Golden would take a massive leap in year 2, and I'm so excited to see what the future holds for this young man. I had high hopes that Wicks would be able to bounce back for what was a terrible 2024 that was plagued with drops. But that didn't occur, as Wicks had a hard time getting on a field when he was healthy, and also ended up missing several games due to injury. His best game of the year came on Thanksgiving against the Lions, where Wicks had 6 receptions for 94 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns. Overall, for his 2025 year, Wicks appeared in 14 games, starting in 7 of them, having 30 receptions for 46 targets, 332 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, and 21 first downs. PFF gave him an overall grade of 70.2, a receiving grade of 71.2, 3 drops, and a passer rating while targeted of 86.6. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Wicks a grade of C-, as he was very disappointing to what should have been a good year for him. Next year will be a make-or-break year for his career, as another year like this will definitely end his time in Green Bay. The Packers could never have all their receivers healthy at one time, could they? After a pretty solid first game of the year where Reed was playing through a Lisfranc injury on his foot against the Lions, he would then be knocked out for 12 weeks after he broke his collarbone in Week 2 against the Commanders. Jaden would then come back against the Bears in Week 14 and was a solid option for the Packers down the stretch. His best game came against the Bears in the wild card round, where he had 4 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown. Overall, for his 2025 season, Reed appeared in 7 games, starting in 3 of them, having 19 receptions on 22 targets, 207 yards, 1 touchdown, and 8 first downs. PFF gave him an overall grade of 70.2, a receiving grade of 70.9, 1 drop, and a passer rating while targeted of 121. For his season, I'm giving Reed a grade of D+, as his effectiveness this year was heavily hampered by the massive injury he sustained. Hopefully, he will be fully healthy in 2026, as he is such an incredible weapon for this Packers offense. Coming into the season, Malik Heath was fighting for his roster spot, as the addition of 2 rookies to this wide receiver room meant Heath was most likely going to be crowded out. But with all of the injuries that the Packers sustained, opened the door for Malik to get some playing time. He was mainly used in run packages and didn't get that many targets before being released by the Packers after Week 13. He was then picked up by the Falcons practice squad for the remainder of the year. His best game came in Week 8 against the Steelers, where he had 3 receptions for 29 yards. Overall, for his 2025 season, Heath appeared in 11 games, having 6 receptions on 7 targets, 86 yards, and 4 first downs. PFF gave him an overall grade of 60.6, a receiving grade of 61.0, 1 drop, and a passer rating while targeted of 117.9. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Heath a grade of F, as he really didn't do that much for the Packers before being released before the season even ended. Drafted to be the Packers' Swiss Army knife on offense and to be potentially Keyshawn Nix's replacement as a kick returner, Williams was pretty much buried on the depth chart. I got a total of 21 touches in his rookie season. He was not very effective with those touches either, as he averaged about 5 yards per touch, though he did get 1 touchdown in the game against the Steelers. Overall, for his rookie year, Savion Williams appeared in 12 games, having 37 rushing yards, 10 receptions on 10 targets, 78 yards receiving, 1 touchdown, and 3 first downs. PFF gave him an overall grade of 60.2, a receiving grade of 62.5, a rushing grade of 55.7, and a passer rating when targeted of 132.5. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Williams a grade of D, as he just wasn't used that much in his rookie year, and when he wasn't that effective. I will say it will be interesting to see how he will do with more opportunities coming in 2026. Oh man, what a season this could have been for Tucker Kraft. As in the first 7 games the Packers played in this year, it looked like Tucker was going to be an all-pro as a tight end. Tucker Kraft was far and away the best receiver that Green Bay had and was the engine that kept the offense humming. But just as he was starting to get national recognition for his excellent play that would have given him awards, in Week 9 against the Panthers, a low hit by a Panthers defender will not only knock Kraft out of the game, but the rest of the year with a torn ACL. And the effect of this injury was clear on this offense, as the loss of his dynamic play prevented this offense from truly reaching its potential. His best game of the year came in Week 8 against the Steelers, where he had 7 catches for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns. Overall, for his season, Kraft appeared in 8 games, starting in all of them, having 32 receptions on 44 targets, 489 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 22 first downs. PFF gave him an overall grade of 78.1, a receiving grade of 82.9, a 62.0 for a run blocking grade, 3 drops, and a passer rating when targeted of 157.2. For his season, I'm giving Kraft a grade of A, as he was just absolutely fantastic when he was on the field. It's just an absolute shame that he was knocked out with an ACL, as he would have easily had over 1,000 receiving yards and double-digit touchdowns on the way to an all-pro season. I just hope that after a full recovery from his ACL tear, that Tucker can come right back to the dominant form that he had. It was yet another rough season for the young tight end Luke Musgrave. After barely playing in 2024 due to an injury, 2025 would be a make-or-break season for him, and was more of a break, as even with the injury to Tucker Kraft halfway through the season, Musgrave didn't take that next step to be even a decent starter in the NFL. He never could develop a good chemistry with Jordan, and never got a ton of targets in game either. With his bad blocking ability, he needs to show sign of life as a receiver, but he just didn't really do that. His best game came in Week 15 against the Broncos, where he had 4 receptions for 52 yards. Overall, for his season, Musgrave appeared in all 17 games, starting in 10 of them, having 24 receptions on 31 targets, 252 yards, and 11 first downs. PFF gave him a 53.9 overall grade, a 57.8 receiving grade, a 45.8 run blocking grade, 2 drops, and a passer rating while targeted of a 100.5. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Musgrave a grade of D, as yet again, the former second-round draft pick disappointed. I will imagine that Musgrave will have even more limited action this season, and the Packers are likely to move to replace him here soon. Coming into the year as the Packers' third-string run-blocking tight end, Fitzpatrick was pretty solid in that role. He was on the field pretty sparingly when it came to catching the ball, but he did get his first career touchdown reception in Week 3 against the Browns. But his season came to an end in Week 16 against the Bears, as Fitzpatrick became the second Packers tight end to lose his season due to a torn ACL. Overall, for his season, Fitzpatrick appeared in 15 games, starting in 4 of them, having 12 catches on 15 targets, 72 pass receiving yards, 1 touchdown, and 4 first downs. PFF gave him an overall grade of 56.3, a receiving grade of 47.5, a run blocking grade of 66.0, 2 drops, and a passer rating when targeted of 104.2. For his 2025 season, I'm giving Fitzpatrick a grade of C, as he played his role pretty solidly before his untimely injury. Hopefully he makes the full recovery, but I think the Packers might look to replace him before to start a next season with a younger tight end. Entering the season as the Packers practice squad tight end, Wiley was elevated to the Packers roster following the injury to star tight end Tucker Kraft. He didn't have many snaps on the offensive side of the field and was limited in his role of a blocker as well. Overall for his season, Wiley appeared in 8 games starting in just 1, having 5 receptions on 6 targets, 36 receiving yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 first downs. PFF gave him an overall grade of 54.2, a receiving grade of 54.3, and a run blocking grade of 53.2. For his season, I'm giving Wiley a grade of D, as he just wasn't that effective in a short time with Green Bay. Well, that is it for this video, folks. Thank you so much for checking out what I think this is how the season went for our quarterbacks and receiving weapons here. Next up on the docket, we have the running backs and offensive line. Should be able to get that for you shortly as that script is all written up. Going to continue with the draft content as well. Baseball season starting up, spring training, hockey and basketball are going on. There's a lot of fun stuff going on in the sports world. I hope you subscribe and stay tuned to check it out. See ya.